I know that you've heard by now that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has dropped out of the race for president, and he has now endorsed President Donald Trump for the presidency. And the reason that's so important is because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. comes from one of the most famous Democrat families in U.S. history. And for him to endorse the Republican candidate for president is a huge deal. So, I had to look at why, of course, just like everyone else. And especially because once he changed his mind and once he dropped out of the race, although when he dropped out, the Democrat Party was trying to do everything to keep him out of the race anyway. He was left off the ballot of many states, including New York. He was suing states so that he could just be on the ballot. And then once he dropped out, now they're mad at him for dropping out. It's amazing, isn't it? How the hubris of some people. But anyway, now that he is out there, his family has denounced him, but that's not a big deal. My family probably has denounced me too because of my political views. And so now he's out there fighting for America, fighting for mankind, because let me tell you something that I think is so ironic. When I first, people ask me, how did you learn that all the things that you know? I said, it's really funny. I was one of those people when the pandemic started. I believed everything. I did everything. And I wore the mask. I did all of those things. I started reading things that Robert F. Kennedy wrote, and I started watching his videos, and I started learning a lot. One of the things that I learned, he has this great video where he was interviewed by Dr. Phil. And in the interview, he was talking about that the National Institute of Health, that we all think is supposed to be out there protecting us, owns part of the vaccine for Moderna. Did you know that? That is extremely, extremely important, because what he did is he made sure that people understood that the vaccines that we were told in many places they mandated, we thought it was for our health. It doesn't look like it was for our health. And I have to tell you, almost everything that you find out, everything goes back to money, everything. And so when I started reading that and I started going down his rabbit hole, and he was so good at explaining how all of these things tie together, and a pandemic, who owns the vaccines, and all of that is extremely important. So then I kept looking at it and kept listening to him. And then he had another video that I think is great. You will want to look this one up too. He was interviewed here, and I believe the way I found it is this site called Vigilant Fox. Okay, you can go there if you choose to, or you can just Google it. Maybe it might come up or on YouTube. But anyway, one of the things that he was saying is how NATO is basically run by one entity, and we all know that, and also that they own the entity that runs NATO also owns all of the weapons manufacturing companies in the country. And in order for you to be an active member of NATO, you have to buy your weapons from this entity. And so it benefits them tremendously to always have war, and it benefits them tremendously to be over NATO. So those are just some things that I think that you need to know. Start looking up Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and thank God that he's on the side of mankind. He's out here trying to save mankind, just like I am. Anyway, thank you.